Hey, good morning. I'd like to welcome everybody to Breakthrough Walls. I am Ken Walls and I'm your host. I have got an unbelievably special guest on today. His name is, and if I say it right,
Huh,
Amin Emami, right? Is that right?
that's
Emami.
absolutely right,
So,
kid. Thank
so,
you.
so I want to bring Amin on right now. Let's have him join us. Amin, how are you, bro?
I'm doing good, my man. Thanks for having me on.
Dude,
Super excited.
I'm excited too, man. I'm very grateful you took the time out of your busy schedule. I know you're incredibly busy. So listen, man, this is a show that I came up with. My wife came up with the idea for the name Breakthrough Walls.
It's
Um,
amazing. I love it.
she's a lot smarter than I am. So she's Richie Bello, and we got Robert Stern on. We got some really cool people coming on
What's
already.
up, guys?
So, I'll tell you the reason I came up with this is because, um, the people get stuck in life, and they let life hit them between the eyes, and they don't know how to get unstuck, if that makes sense. So and by the way, if you want to, I forgot to tell you, you can open up Facebook on your phone real quick and share this out if you want,
Yeah,
because
that'd be
the
great.
software I use does not automatically tag you. So, um, but this show's about helping people overcome the crap that life throws at them and succeed anyway. And I know that you, my friend, from the conversations you and I've had, dude, you've been through some crap. I mean, you've been through some stuff. So,
Uh-huh.
let's start with where were you? I want people to kind of get to know who you are, because I got to know you, and dude, you and I, we just hit it off, man. You're like my brother from another mother, right?
I
So
know, man. That first conversation, it was like, what the hell is going on here? Who is this guy?
I know,
He's
right?
like my brother.
I know, dude.
It was
So,
amazing.
so I want people to get to know who Amin is, and so let's start with where were you born and raised?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on, and thanks for everyone who's going to be watching this. I was born in Tehran, Iran, in 1982, so now you know my age. It wasn't a very pretty time in Iran around that time. I mean, that was like when the whole regime happened, the revolution, the Shah was thrown out, and all the extremists were coming in, and there was a lot of like chaos happening in the country. And there was also the Iran and Iraq war.
Yeah.
So all my like early childhood experiences was all like running away from sirens and hiding out and making sure you're not talking about the religion or anything wrong you say or do. I mean, it's all about watching every move, everything, anything happens around you. So it was a crazy time. And
Yeah.
then I lived through that for a few years, and then I remember my parents had divorced, so that's a lot of my trials and tribulations started out early on.
Yeah.
So people ask me like, "What did you read this book, or did you like watch these videos, or how did you get to become who you are?" And in reality, it's all life experiences.
Sure. And that's
Especially
what
from a
this
young
is.
age.
That's what this is all about. Is because we all go through the shit, man. We all go through but like, not many people watching this show right now, and not many people that will ever watch this show will be able to say that they can relate to what you've been through, because, dude, like, I remember, I mean, in '82, I was 14, you jerk. I'm
My
just
bad.
I'm just
You old
kidding, dude.
man.
Yeah. So
Now I'm gonna
so
say it live.
yeah. So like, but I remember, like, there was, I think there wasn't there a hostage situation back then, and
Yeah.
there,
Yep.
there was a lot of freaking, you know instability in that entire region, and there
Absolutely.
still is, but it was bad back then, man. I thought, I think everybody was like, we thought there was going to be some kind of a global nuclear fallout or something. Like it was crazy. But you were living it right there in the midst of it, like bombs dropping and stuff all around.
Absolutely.
And I know I've heard Patrick Bet David talk about like how he's looking out the back of the window of the car as they're trying to bust ass to get out of town, and there's freaking bombs dropping right behind him. So and you've been through that, right?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, nighttime you would watch out. It was amazing to me because I was always like, why is it so bright outside? But I remember it was rockets and mortars like just flying by, so you can hear it. So you hear the sound, and then you see them. So it's like da 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 da, and then you could see the lights just flashing through, and it's just glowing the whole night. So it was like a reddish bright light, but it was all from the flames of all these bombs and missiles and artillery that they were just flying by.
And what and that was as a little kid, right?
I really started remembering things when I was 3 years old and on. So for sure, from 3 to 6 years old, I remember all of that.
Wow.
It went on until I was 6.
Wow. So there's David Cribbs is in here. Hey, David, he's going to be on next week.
That's not David.
So I mean, look, that's what like perplexes me. It's kind of like if you grew up in the hood or something, man. like yeah, we had
it was
all the time. What's that?
There were times that I felt like I was in the hood.
Well, so I mean, dude,
throughout my life,
right? But that's what I'm talking about. Is people like I grew up in a lower middle class house, that had running water and toilets and all that stuff. But I can't relate to that.
No.
I mean, I remember the neighbors would set off fireworks on the 4th of July. But
I used to be scared of that for a long time. I would get anxiety. So even like right now, I live in an area to where I'm in the Middle East. I was from the Middle East, in the Midwest.
Yeah.
In the Midwest, so there's a lot of tornado sirens going on once in a while. And every time that siren goes off, my hair stand up every time because it reminds me of the sirens when the bombs were coming in.
Oh my gosh, dude.
So it's always a reoccurring thing. And I love 4th of July. I'll go to my friends, but every time those rockets go up or you hear those things, and it's like, man, I remember it every time.
Dude, that's insane, man. So you grew up with, and when did you said it stopped at 6 years old?
Yep, 88 is when it stopped.
When did you move to the U.S.?
So basically, my mom and dad divorced when I was 3 years old, and I never talked to my mom until I was 9. And right around when I was 9, she called, and I'll never forget this conversation. But the first thing I said is, why did you leave? And then she told me that she's in America, she's remarried, I have a brother, so I was all excited. I was like, well, that's exciting, I want to see you. She was like, well, great, I'll come get you. So that was in 1990 to 91, around that area, I remember.
Wow.
So I was in 5th grade, yeah.
So your mom came over to Iran. Am I saying that right? Iran?
Iran, yeah. Iran. It's not Iran. I didn't run from anywhere. So I didn't run from it, okay? I actually flew here. It wasn't on a camel. It wasn't anything crazy, okay?
Oh, my God, that's funny. You said it wasn't on a camel.
I get jokes like that all the time, man. I don't know why.
That's funny, dude. That's funny.
I never even saw a camel until I was here. Dude, my first camel I saw in my life was on a highway over here for a 4th of July event that they had.
I love racism, man. I think the way people do that crap, man, it's something to laugh at. It just shows how ignorant people can be.
It's ignorance.
I know, man. It's funny. But so you came over here so you were how old? 9, 10?
I was 9 years old. Yeah.
9 years old?
I was 9 years old.
So you came over to America at 9 years old. I'm sure you spoke perfect English.
Oh, I knew how to say hi, bye, apple for some reason. I don't know why I remember that. And then I don't know English. So I could tell you that real easy. So if you kept talking to me, I'll be like, I don't know English. That's how it went.
But dude, and
Yeah, I had
I brought this
no
up.
knowledge of it, man. And
Well,
then I went right to school, right to public school. I remember that. They thought I was, they tried to say that he's special, so we have to go lower him down. And I was like, I am not special. It's just because I don't understand and I don't speak your language. So that was a commitment I had to make, and I learned English in 6 months.
and that's unreal. I mean, which is one of the hardest languages in the world, actually. But I brought this up to you the first time we talked. I'm like, dude, you have I know a lot of people from Iran. I told you that I know a lot of people from Iran, and they all have accents, and they've been here for many, 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 many years, decades, and they still have thick Iranian accents. And I'm like,
hello, Ken.
yeah, you don't have that. You don't have that at all, dude. That's impressive.
It was. I'll tell you a little quick little thing about that. I remember I would go home and I would ask my stepfather and my mom about how to speak a little bit better, and they always had an accent, and I could realize it because I could see them interacting with other people when we're outside and their reaction to how they speak. So I already knew, man, this is not a good teacher. They're not going to be the best teacher for me. So I remember back then it was VCRs.
Yeah.
So I would put in a VCR and literally over and over rewind, fast forward, rewind, and just listen to how they're pronouncing the words, and then go back into my little dictionary that was in Farsi and English, and then just read it back and understand the words, and then say it again. So that's how I learned. Wow. So it was just literally just watching these videos over and over. By the time I was done, those videos were faded because I was so back and forth, there were lines in them.
Yeah. Well, see but that's my point. We go through so much stuff in life, and that's what I love about you, man, is you've been dude, you've been through it. People don't have to go through that stuff in life.
I don't want to say that I would hope that someone does. And I get that, Ken. And there's times that, I have to think man, would I want this for anyone else? Not really. But in some ways, yes, because that hardship, and everybody goes through hardship. I think it's just the way we look at it.
Right.
I've always had this open mind towards any hardship, I'm going to figure it out kind of deal.
Right. And
that all came from, childhood of not having, really the dad with me and the mom. So I knew I had to kind of be independent. So it kind of grew in me as a young child. So that's why I was everything, I was I'm going to go at it. I'm going to figure it out.
Right.
And I think it doesn't matter. You don't have to have the same issues, same hardships in life to kind of grow into that mentality. But, it's just that mentality. Anyone can have that, I think.
And anyone can, you're right. But I've found that it's almost a cliche about immigrants coming to America and really making it and becoming extremely successful like you are, and I know you are, and yet people who were born and raised here under the privileges of living in such a free and great country with unlimited possibilities don't make it, and blame everybody else and dude, you're hey, this is a pretty cool place. It looks like I can pretty much do whatever I want, and so far I've not heard one single missile fly by my head.
Hey, knock on wood, man. Stop it. Don't be saying stuff like that.
So that's what I'm talking about, though. Is so back to the show format, because I kind of went off on a tangent, but it seems like there's always growing up as a child, most people have some person or some major event or occurrence that influences who they become as an adult and what they do, and kind of your modus operandi, kind of your mode of operation. What pops out in your head if you said, yeah, this one person or this one thing really kind of affected what I became as an adult? What would that be? What was the first thing that popped in your head?
My grandfather, my step grandfather. He was I remember like he would. I mean, he was retired really, but the way he carried himself when I was growing up with him for a few years. He would always take me out to like these big lands, and he was making these deals, like multi-million-dollar deals on land, on housings, or all these different types of deals. And I mean, he was a true entrepreneur, and he was really the person that I looked up on and said, you know, I want to grow up. I want to like do those deals. I want to do those things in life. I want to be able to help a community. I mean, he was helping like cities out.
Wow.
Building
was this
all these different.
in Iran?
This was in Iran, yeah.
Okay.
So, and he was really, I would say, truly inspired me to grow up and learn those ways.
Yeah.
So I would say, you know, he's probably been a very good inspiration. I mean, there's been a lot of things that has happened in my life. You know, obviously we've talked about a few of those that are big things in my life that I can look back on.
Yeah.
But if I say who or what really embedded that piece in me to always want to be the best in myself and want to grow more and help people out, was really that when I saw that as a child.
Wow. And so that was up until the age of 8, 9?
9 years old.
Now,
Yeah.
do you ever go back, or have you been back at all? Or
So I went back when I was 17,
okay.
and I lived there for, about 2 years. I went there when I was 17. I was supposed to only be there for a few months, and then the Army thing in our country is that once you turn 18 or right before you turn 18, you mandatory have to go to the Army.
Oh, wow.
So it became that time. My green card, I had a green card back then and a reentry card. That is expiring. These guys are saying you can't leave the country. You got to go to the Army. So it was a big hassle. And it took me a year, and I had to actually pay my way out of the country.
Oh, my God.
So we had contacted, like, everybody we knew, all the connections through my grandfather and them.
Wow.
And finally, I think we spent like $15,000 to $20,000 to get a piece of paperwork that says, hey, he can be released and not go to the Army unless it's a war and he's in the country.
Wow.
So I got that, came back over. And at 19, and I remember in the airport, the guy looked at my paperwork, looked at me, he's like, what are you doing here? I was like, I'm coming back. He's like, well, you're expired. Like, what are you talking about? I can send you back. So I had to fight my way in the airport. They put me into I think it's the INS judge or something like that in the airport. And this was at JF Kennedy.
Wow.
So I go there, I wait for an hour. The guy comes, I go to the guy and he's like, what are you doing here? What's happening? He's doing all these questions. And then right as I'm answering some of the questions, he's like, dude, you belong here. Approved. Go home. So I was
no way,
Lord.
Dude.
I was like, thank you, Lord. Yeah, man, it's crazy.
Wow.
But I got lucky and I came back, and I've been here ever since. I have not gone back.
You're like, we're not rolling those dice again. No way.
I didn't do it, man. I didn't do it.
Dude, see, that is what I mean. Like people don't.
That's what I mean.
People don't go through that, man. So did you? So you were here. Where did you go to high school then? Where did you finish high school?
Well, before I left and I went back to my country when I was 17, I went to high school at Wissahickon High, and this was in Ambler, PA, Pennsylvania.
Oh wow!
And then when I went back home,
Where's
now they
Ambler?
try to put.
Where's Ambler?
So Ambler, Pennsylvania.
What's that close to?
Oh, Bluebell, PA. I mean, Philadelphia is not that far away from it. I mean, it's probably like, a few 40 minutes away or something like that. So it's not that bad.
My wife's from Pennsylvania, Erie.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that.
Oh,
I can't remember.
Yeah. I'm old, dude. I don't remember everything.
So yeah, man. I mean, when I went back home. I did try to go to high school, but that was, in my language, and I'm used to English now. Everything's like some English culture for me by this time. So that was a culture shock. I couldn't understand. I couldn't even read the stuff at first. So then I dropped out of high school back home, and then that's when all the Army stuff happened, and I was trying to fight my way out of the country. And then finally, when I got back, I was like 19 years old. I'm going back to junior class in high school. So I'm like the oldest kid.
Wow.
And I just couldn't do it. I mean, I couldn't do it. Everybody's like mentality and everything else was just so I don't know, like not immature, but it was okay for what they had gone through.
Right, right.
So for me, I've been through so much, and it was just I was like totally in a different world when I came back.
Right.
And I just couldn't do it. I was an adult at this point. I didn't have to call my mom to see what I can do at school. I was my own adult.
Yeah.
So at that point, I said, you know what? This is not going to work out. Yeah. I'm gonna step out of this. And then I got out of that high school, but then I went back to another high school later on, actually, and just finished my diploma because I didn't want to be like the actual dropout.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I get my diploma. I went back, I got my diploma,
Good
and then
college. Did you end up going to college?
Yes, I went to college. I studied business management and marketing.
Okay. Where'd you go to college?
There's a place right close about where I live. It's called Johnson County Community College. Uh-huh. It's like in Overland Park, Kansas.
Okay.
Well, a pretty nice, decent school for around this area.
Yeah. So you got your degree there?
Oh no, I'm still doing it.
Oh wow.
I'm still taking one class because my schedule is so crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like either I say I'm just not gonna do it because my schedule is crazy, but now I'm just doing one class at a time.
Wow.
So the way I'm going, it's been a long time. I won't say how many years it's been, but I should be done in about a year and a half. So
good for you, dude. Good for you. That's
most
awesome.
of my stuff left is like internships. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to enter into my own companies.
Well,
like, so hey, can we sign it off? My partners can sign it off.
I walked out in the 12th grade. They told me that I didn't get a biology credit, and I'm like, and how's that going to help me in real life? And so I ended up walking out. But I've had a lot of college graduates work for me, and so I've brought in a lot of interns. So go ahead.
I want to say something about that, Ken, is that it's not that I'm against school. I'll be honest with you. The biggest reasons why I'm still doing it is for my grandmother. She's still alive, and it was her dream for me to like go to college and get my college degree. So in real life, I really want to get it done because I want her to be happy.
Right.
But honestly, everything else that I have learned through just experience has got me to where I'm at. Not the degree at all.
Exactly.
Not the education.
Right. And I think that, and I have a bookshelf behind me that I've read all those books. I have more books. I've got books everywhere. And so I've spent my entire adult life.
Well, dude, you learn so much more out of a lot of books that are on your shelf, probably and other shelves, than you learned from the actual books that you get in college or school.
Right. I don't have anything to gauge that by as far as truth for me, but I believe you. I believe that's true. So let me ask you this. I know you have a very successful business there in Kansas, right?
Uh-huh.
Up to this point in your life, what do you feel is the most valuable life lesson that you've received so far?
The biggest thing is that you never want to have a victim mentality. Life is going to throw all these bashes, all these, darts at you, no matter where you are, when in life. It doesn't matter who you are.
Right.
You could be the most successful person in the world that you would think of. You're still going to get those darts. You're still going to get those bashes coming at you from all directions. And if you don't have this or if you have this victim mentality type of personality, you're always going to feel like something is owed to you. You're never going to truly take the responsibility for all those things and take control of your own life. So I've learned, my biggest lesson is that once you step out of that, understand that, hey, you don't have to be the victim anymore. This is how life is set up. Everybody's going to go through some kind of trials and errors. But as long as you take that responsibility to say, hey, I can make the changes in my life. If I don't like this job, if I don't like my boss, guess what? I could go get another one. If I don't like my school or if I don't like what I'm studying, I can go get I can study something else. It doesn't matter what age. It doesn't matter where you are. You can make those changes. And I just said two simple things. We can get The list can keep going on,
Yeah.
but it doesn't matter what that list is, what those things are. As long as you are going at it that way, dude, you can do anything you want in life. It doesn't matter.
That's right. I
So
totally agree with
don't have a victim mentality.
I totally agree with that, man. I hate that victim mentality. But think I'd like to, and this is something I don't know that I've asked anybody as a guest on the show, but I'm curious as to what your response would be to this. I think I know, but if you lost everything today, your business wise, everything, like you had nothing, not a dime to your name, nothing, not that fancy car you drive, no, I mean nothing, right? What would you do?
Well, first of all, I would be grateful. I mean, people might think I'm crazy when I say that, but there's a reason why that happens. If that happens and I'm still living, I got to be grateful because I'm not dead. And I'm going to learn from all those mistakes that brought me to that point. So I'm going to do something different about it. So number one, I'm just going to wake up and I'm going to say, thank you, Lord, for everything that you gave me. And thank you for everything you took away from me at this point in my life. Then I'm just going to get back on the grind because you learned so much up to that point. You learn what not to do and what to do. It's almost like you're getting another chance in life. You're still alive. You're literally getting another chance to reopen those books, reopen those chapters, and rewrite it the way you want to do it without a lot of the mistakes that you made. So if again, it's that victim mentality, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think about, I'll be honest with you. It's weird that you asked me this question, but I think about this all the time. Because it can't, it doesn't, we're not God. We're not this, perfect human being that everything's going to be perfect.
Right.
Dude, we could wake up tomorrow and something weird can happen and everything could be taken away.
Yep.
If
Right.
if your mentality, you're preparing for that, I think that if it does happen, God forbid, at least you can get up and say, you know what? Thank you. Let's get at it again.
like, woo, let's roll.
It's a new way. I can start over. Yes.
That's it. And I've heard so many great people say the same thing. And I've been there, man. I've been there so many times as an adult. It's like, holy crap. But like a lot of it's been self-inflicted, but hey, it happens, right? So when because I know that a lot of people reach out to you and ask for, and are you doing coaching?
I do some coaching, some life coaching, business coaching.
I thought so. So, so a lot of people reach out and they ask you for guidance or help or to figure it out. What is the biggest thing? Because, and for me, I kind of know this already for me, but I do think that it's kind of subjective. But what's the biggest mistake you see people make in their own lives that prevents them from having happiness, joy, love, peace, and financial wealth?
This is a good one, actually. I think this is a really good question, man, because it happens almost to everybody that asks for any kind of help. They're always looking for like a confirmation or an affirmation of confidence in themselves, of can I do this, or things like that. So it's almost like they're searching. They already know the answers. 9 out of 10 times, most of the people know the answers. They're either blind to it, but the reason they are is because they're always looking for, because they think they don't have the inside confidence.
Right.
So they're always looking for like a confirmation or that stamp on the paper for me or someone else in their life to say, yes, you got this. Right. So it's always that search for their own being inside. So I think most of us are great.
Yeah.
I think 9 out of 10 of us, we all have big greatness in us. There's always those little bad seeds. I'm not going to talk about them, but most people have a very good, purpose in life. But because they don't have the confidence and they don't believe that they do, and they don't, because of that, they don't search for it. They're always in a wandering state, and they're always looking for confirmation from others. They're always looking for idols. They're always looking for someone else. They're always looking for, can you give me the answer? Can you give me the, a handout for it? But it's like, dude, you already have it. Every one of you has it.
Yep.
You just have to believe in yourself. You have to, then when you search and you're open-minded, when you're open-minded, you're going to receive the information correctly.
Right.
The information's so out there for people to get it, but it's like they don't get it because they don't have that piece inside. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's so powerful. I totally agree with you, man. I totally agree. People want validation more than I think anything else in the world. And I'm no different. We're all like that. Like we want people to validate who we are, validate our ideas, validate what we're doing or the direction we're going or whatever. And that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. How do you deal with that? How do you personally deal with not feigning the validation or attention of other people?
Well, I'll tell you what, I still do it. But
dude.
now I catch myself.
Yeah, right.
So we're all human. We're all going to do the same things. It's a matter of how fast do we get out of it.
That's right.
Okay, so one of my mentors back then said, it's okay to be in this state of confusion. It's okay to be in this state of like self-pity sometimes, but get out of it quick.
Yep.
The difference between the very successful people in life and the ones that aren't is that gap. So if you shorten that gap of I'm going to get out of it in 2 seconds, I think about it, it's a thought, then it's over.
Right.
And you made it.
Yep.
So that's how I have conditioned myself, and I still do it. So whenever it goes through that thought, I'm like, okay, done. You can get out of that. You could, so it's like you discipline yourself over time.
Right.
So when even the thought brings up, quickly you get yourself out of that. Because if you don't, then it's just going to dwell and dwell. Then the 10 seconds becomes 10 minutes, 10 hours, 10 days, 10 years for some people.
True, dude.
Lifetime for some people. So it's all about, kind of disciplining yourself to when that thought comes up, just get yourself out of it real quick.
Yep. And once you can master that, you're on the track, man. Once you can master that. So if somebody, I'm trying to think how to word this, but people, again, this show is about helping people get unstuck. And I did a post, I see a lot of posts on Facebook, and I know you do too, from all these people that and no offense to anybody your age or in your age group or category, because you're at probably the tail end of being a millennial ish.
I got out, but barely.
But, and no offense, because I know some great millennials. And, one of the things that I find most attractive about any person is their ability to stay humble, their ability to stay open to learning from other people and not acting like they know every effing thing in the world. And I know that it's a busy and noisy world out there. Okay, I get it. I think you've probably been out and banged on a few doors. I've knocked on thousands, tens of thousands of businesses and residential doors selling products and services, and I've been out there and life's kicked my ass. I'm almost 50 years old, and so. I did a post this morning about, I see these posts from these people that act like they have it all figured out. They might have a couple $1,000,000 in the bank, and they're all that and a bag of potato chips, as Dr. Evil said.
Yeah.
But what's the one thing that you would say to somebody that's stuck? I just see so many freaking people that are stuck and they're doing the wrong thing. They're stuck, but they're still arrogant as hell. They're broke, but they're still arrogant as hell. Like what would you say to somebody that's stuck? Like what's the number one piece of advice you would give them?
hmm So well, there's different stucks, I guess, right? So when you're talking about someone thinks that they've made it and they got $2 million, but they're kind of stuck in that arrogancy.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different than someone who's stuck that is not that arrogant and is willing to learn more, but
Right.
they don't know how to get to the next level.
Right.
So I think first of all, there's different stuckness.
Sure, I agree.
So there's different mentality there.
I agree.
So if it's someone that's like, hey, I want to have all these things in my life. I want to do this with my business. I want to grow it to like 10 million instead of, the 1 million,
Right.
but I'm kind of stuck. I don't know what else to do. Well, usually it's because they don't have they might not have a very big why of why they want that. Or what would happen if they don't have that. So most people in life, if it's not a big enough reason for them, if it's not like a big need, they're always going to stay where they're kind of at.
Right.
They might have this fantasy and this dream of like, yeah, I would love to have like $10 million in my bank account or 100 million and mansions or this. But in reality, it's just a dream.
Right.
Right? They haven't really identified of why they want that. What could that do for them in their life, their family's life, the people around them that they care about? Because most of the time, it's not really about us anymore. It's about what can you do for some people around you. So when that purpose kind of gets bigger, your why starts getting bigger, and you feel like there's need, there's like it's like you can't live without it. Like, oh my God, if I don't do this, if I don't get to that point, then I am letting not only myself down, but my family down, my kids down. The list can go on. So
Yep.
I think first of all, for people who are stuck, they need to kind of figure out what is that exact why, what is that exact purpose, what would happen if they don't have that. Why is it a need or is it just a want?
Right.
Because once it becomes so important and becomes more of a need, then there's always ways to figure things out and
Yep.
and move forward.
Yep.
But if you're not out of that mentality stage of it's not that important, but I want it kind of, it would be nice to have, then it's hard. Unless you get lucky, and some people do get lucky,
Right. Right.
but a lot of people don't.
No. Well, I don't believe I believe what Zig Ziglar said that, the harder I work, the luckier I get. It's about it's about being prepared and working your face off until you freaking get it, until you get it, and then don't stop, don't get complacent. Like that's me personally. Like I don't understand the mentality of not working and working really, really hard. So, so your number one piece of advice to somebody stuck, sum it up in a few words.
What is it that you really want out of life? Find your purpose, find your why, make it so big enough, make it so much as a need instead of a want.
Yep.
Don't let it be a want. Make it a need.
Right.
Make it like you cannot live without it. And if you do, you're dead. You're dead.
Yeah.
So when it comes to a life and death situation, dude, we do so many crazy things when it's a life and death situation. So make it a life and death type of need once you find that. And then you'll figure out the way.
Yep.
Never stop, never quit. Knock on every door, there's people out here that are willing to help you. There are people that are just like successful people, millions of dollars. They don't have time for anybody.
Right.
But they have put videos for free online that you can go search for and watch or read. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
The information's out there. You can go seek it. You can go get it. You can get unstuck. But you have to first figure out yourself.
Dude, I agree. We live in a fairly decent sized home and like.
Congrats, by the way. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Nobody has ever knocked on the door ever and said, "Hey, I'll clean all your windows for $100 or something, like, or whatever. Like, nobody has ever, like, and I know that if somebody knocked on the door and said, "Hey, I'll clean," or "Hey, I'd love to clean your house," or I'd love to, I have a, like, nobody's ever knocked on our door and tried to sell us anything, and that just blows my mind. It actually does. It blows me away. Like, dude,
Kind of sad.
What's that?
It's sad.
It's
sad
sad,
because
man.
there's people out there that are wanting to maybe do that, but they're afraid. They're afraid to go knock on a door. They're afraid of rejection.
Yeah.
They feel like, man, I'm not good enough to walk into this door. They're probably gonna kick me out of their lawn. But in reality, I'm waiting for someone to knock on my door and say, "I'll do your stuff, man."
Dude,
yes, thank you. Here you go. Please do it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, definitely. You're hired. I don't even need my husband to okay this. Yeah, come and clean the windows. So but that's the thing is, like, people don't see the like, even if you're stuck and you're not making money, or you can't figure it out, like, dude, there's freaking money everywhere. There's money everywhere. Elizabeth Olivieri says, "I'm going to have to visit you." Leanne says, "I will fly from Australia. Don't like cleaning windows, though."
This could be a nice, like, recruiting. This is great. We're gonna recruit.
I know, right? So like that's the thing, though, is I have the feeling that with you, like, if you were down and out, man, you would just do whatever it takes,
You have to.
and when I was making freaking phone calls yesterday, man, selling. That's what I do. I make calls and I sell my stuff. So, like, you gotta. Leanne says she'll cook.
Oh, that's amazing. I would love a cook.
Yeah, right. So tell everybody about a little about where you are now with your business, what you do, and how that's going for you.
Sure. So right now, me and my partner, we run a retail store in Kansas. It's a computer shop. We sell the computers. We buy computers. We what do you do? We do, like, virus scans and OS installs, and we go to businesses. We have a whole side of that business that we just go to businesses. We contract with businesses. We set up their all networks, do their backups, a lot of, like, the computer, all the computer stuff, basically. So that's one business that we do. We started our e-commerce business, so we do Shopify accounts, Amazon accounts. We just actually, I just was making a sales call to vendors to become their distributor for the online business that we had. So yeah, I do that too. I mean, I call all the time, man. So that's another business that we do. Obviously, I got my own personal branding stuff that I do with the coaching, life coaching, business coaching. That's by itself there. Do some investing. So that's another big part of what we do. So we look for opportunities as far as, like, startup companies or companies that are well established that might be going public. So there's ways to kind of gauge and make those connections with the connections that we already have. And then, just do some investing on that side. So that way and the reason I brought that up is that it's a nice way for people who are kind of stuck and they don't know what to do. Well, there's billionaires, there's millionaires who do know what to do with the money.
Right.
So if you kind of start making the right connections and just let your money do its own thing with the right people, you just sit back and you just have to kind of wait it out. Yes, it's a long-term type of thing, but there's opportunities like that too out there. So we do that, and then I do some side deals as well because, like I said, the connections. I have, what do you call this? The Rolodex. I keep hearing that. So when you have a Rolodex of all these entrepreneurs and CEOs or multimillionaires, billionaires, then it's like a puzzle, right?
Right.
So all you're doing is when you see a missing piece, which is an opportunity, then you're like, okay, well, which of these puzzles can I put in there where that missing piece is?
Right.
So then you're just connecting those dots, and then there you go. You just made a deal over, like, maybe an hour phone call that those two people are going to do the rest of the work, but you just put it together, and you get a commission on that. So there's a lot of that happens on the back end.
You and I need to do a deal.
Hey, I'm ready for talking about any deals any day. What's your deal?
I know.
You want to talk about it right now?
Yeah, we'll talk offline. But yeah, we need to do a deal, man. But, like, and again, that's one of the things that that I love about you, man, is like, and I know you better than probably most people watching this, and I think that you're just a freaking like you're just a hustler, man. You just do it. You just do whatever it takes. Like you're looking for solutions all the time. You don't stay stuck, dude. I mean, take an American and put them in the middle of Iran in 1984, and have them just kind of live there at the age of 4 or 5 years old, 6 years old, and then bring them back over here, and let's see how most Americans are going to behave for the rest of their days on this planet. They're going to be in this victim mindset, this victim mentality of, oh my God, you have no idea what I've been through.
It's possible, but no, everybody's different. Ken, everybody's different. So I want people to understand is that could be the worst case scenario.
Yes.
I think it really depends on your personal yourself. It's all yourself, how you look at things.
Yeah.
That's why I encourage people, whoever's listening here, and if they're in a situation in life, it doesn't matter if someone else is having a bad time or anything else. You could be different. You could be the next person who changes that. So it's all about how you look at yourself, how you look at yourself internally, mentally, and how you see the world, how you look at things. I mean, I could watch the news today, and I could sit there and be like, oh my God, look at all these crazy BS I see on the news.
Yeah.
Or I could be like, you know what? I'm going to go seek the actual truth myself in the world.
Right.
I'm going to find out what is behind this instead of just listening to everyone else, because that's what we're conditioned to do.
Yep.
We're always conditioned to see it almost like in other people's lenses. We're not really seeing it out of our own lens anymore. Even though we're watching and we're listening out of our own ears, it's really not ours. We're basing it on everyone else's thoughts. We're basing it on everyone else's view. So it's one of those things that I think, it could be way different. You could be that one that's going to be way different. And there's nothing wrong with that.
And dude, that's why I don't watch the news. I refuse to watch the news. I don't read the news. Any news I get normally would be on something I see on social media that pops up or something. But and then I don't want that one source to be my filter. I look elsewhere. And because I think people allow that stuff to control them, and I'm not going to be. I'm in control of my environment, as Grant Cardone says, and I'm not going to allow third party sources to control what I'm experiencing in life. It's just
absolutely
not going to happen. So I love that, dude. I love that. So what's next for you, bro?
My book. I've been writing my book, so I'm pretty excited about that. So every life situation from the time I remember, which is 3 years old, all the way to this day, everything, all my wisdoms, all my trials, tribulations, what I had to go through, how I dealt with it, how others can, kind of learn from that and deal with it. It's all going to be in the book, man. And I'm sure a lot of my people around me are going to be like, oh my God, he actually talked about this. So there's going to be a lot of crazy stories in there. But I think it all adds, to who I am, not only who I am, but for other people who can kind of relate to some of those crazy stories. And, hopefully it can get them out of that funk, out of that stuckness like we were talking about, because that's all it's about. The whole message of that book is to help others understand that you're not alone in all those different areas. I mean, anxiety problems, depression problems, drug addiction, alcoholism, abandonment issues, all sorts of issues that I had to, kind of go through in my life. So there's people out there, and I want them to understand that, they're not alone. You are not alone. There's always somebody here that can, help you, guide you. You just have to be open-minded to that. You have to understand that, if you really truly need some help, get the help you need, get out of that funk, and believe in yourself, have the confidence. You can do anything you want.
Wow. Dude, I love that. I love that, man. So how do people follow you? How do they get a hold of you? How do they follow you?
You can follow me on Facebook, the Amin Emami. Apparently there's a lot of Amin Emamis out there. I didn't know that. So I had to become the Amin Emami. I'm sorry. So at the Amin Emami, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, or my websites. I have my website, theaminemami.com. I'm all over the place. So I mean, even through your Facebook, they can find me in there and just add me and go from there. And I'm always available. So I mean, there's a lot of times I get a lot of messages from a lot of people. So there's times that I might not see one because there's so many.
Right.
But eventually I go through it, I funnel through them, so I get to them, and I try to respond to everybody that I can.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. Don't ever feel like, oh my God, this guy's never going to talk to me or things like that, because there are a lot of people out there that are really genuinely busy and they can't.
Yeah.
But I take the time to kind of do that. So don't feel, whoever wants to reach out and talk about anything, I'm here to listen and help.
Somebody said, put your links up, please. So after we end this, maybe hop on this stream and put your links or whatever as a comment so people can find you, bro. So,
absolutely.
Hey, any parting words of wisdom for our audience?
It's all going to come back to remember that you are the only thing that is holding you back in life. There is no situation in life that you can cling on, that you can say, this is that's holding me back, because it's not. It's how you're reacting to it.
Right.
There's so many people out there that don't want you to succeed. Even your own family members, even your own best friends that you have for years, they don't want you to succeed. One, they could be jealous. Two, it could just be a doubt that they have in their own self, and now it's portraying out to you. It's like for them to say, I can't do it, well, you can't do it.
Right.
So don't ever take people's opinions, don't take life situations that are coming at you as this barrier of, I can't do something.
Right.
You can do whatever you want to do in life. It's how you see it for yourself. You are the one behind this driver's seat. No one else is. No one's putting a gun to your head, I hope not, telling you what to do and what not to do. And if there is, you better call the cops.
Right.
But
exactly.
You are the one in that driver's seat. You control your life as long as you allow yourself to do that. You have to allow yourself to do that. It's almost like you're kind of talking in a third person here about yourself, but it's how it is. Yep. You have this conscious mind, and then you have yourself that you have to beat yourself every day to say, I'm going to be this way, I'm not going to be that way. You're disciplining your own self. So it's all about you.
Love it.
Figure out who you are. Figure out what your weaknesses are. Figure out what you have great skills in, and work on those. Become better at those things.
Yeah.
Every day, every single day. It's a compound effect. Nothing's going to change overnight. Everybody's trying to have this quick drug. I'm going to pop in here, push this button. Overnight, I'm going to become this successful person. Is not going to happen. You got it in you. You just have to put in the time and believe in yourself. Over time, you're going to look back and say, holy shit. I'm in a whole new place. I'm in a whole new different world. I'm a new person. That's what's going to happen to you if you believe in it and you work on yourself over those years. Put in the time. Believe in yourself.
Love it, dude. I love it. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you coming on. I love you as like a brother, man. Like you're amazing, and I'm so grateful you came on. And I know that the people who hung in here and watched the whole thing. Jill, my wife, just said unbelievable interview. I'm sure she's talking about me, not you. I'm just kidding.
Jill is awesome.
She loves you. Ever since she
you
got
guys
to talk to you, she was like, "Oh my God, that guy's unreal." So, thank you so much. Really appreciate.
Oh, the pleasure's all mine. Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you to everyone who watched this with us. Thank you to everyone who shared.
Yes, thank you.
Really appreciate it. Love you all, and we will see you tomorrow on Breakthrough Walls. Amin, thank you so much. I'll see you soon, bro.
Bye, guys. Thank you.